Hello, my friend. July 6th, Monday, 10:24 in the morning. Uh, Let me just turn off my laptop real quick so I wouldn't be distracted later. Yeah, my laptop is the biggest distraction for me. It's not my phone because I have deleted Instagram and all other social media. I only kept YouTube there. YouTube is also a very big distraction, but comparatively, this laptop distracts me 10 times more. Okay, I'm going to read books. Reading makes me feel good. It feels like I'm learning something, I'm practicing speaking. This is my technique to practice pronunciation and expressing, telling stories. Okay, I think I've read a lot yesterday. So, I don't know. Jimmy Louis, okay. Yeah, I've read this part. Weak and strong. Right. Let me see. I have told you about the early days of my marriage, so you can understand why I became weak and strong at the same time. Oh, I've read this part. I've read this part. I have read this part. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hold on. Along the way to Wuchang, I saw what the war had done. In almost every village, it seemed were rows of one-story clay houses with their middles crushed in, all the roofs torn off, all the walls on one side all fallen down. Some houses were already fixed, holes patched here and there with the broken top of a table, or straw matting from a bed, or the door of a wrecked car. I once looked down into the mouth of a green valley, and scattered here and there in the tall wild grass were black clumps, a dozen or so. From that distance, they looked like broken rounds of coal carelessly tossed away. I did not realize until after we had almost passed by that this had once been a village, and those black lumps had been small houses burned down several years ago with no one left to build them back. But mostly what I saw were poor and hungry faces. So many faces along the road, young and old, all wearing the same dry look of too much grief. They were poking through rubble, placing scraps in thin bags, and when their ears caught the sound of our buzz, they dropped their backs and their hands formed meager begging bowls. Little miss, look at our mystery. Little miss, look at our misery. Give us your pity. Their voices wailed and then faded, as our bus kept driving, pushing all that misery to the side of the road. My stomach ached to see them. Those of us in the bus had our own worries as well. We had heard that many poor people had become bandits and now roamed wild throughout China, especially in the mountain regions. And when we had to take a boat across Dongting Lake, we were warned that pirates had already seized many boats and would not hesitate to slice our throats. The Kuomintang insisted it was the communists who were doing these crimes, and Auntie Du secretly told us this was not true. Her daughter had written her and told her communists were now blamed for everything bad in China. So you see, the end of the war did not stop all the fights. It was not until we safely reached Wuchang, where we would stay in a hotel only one night, that Hulan and I realized we would not see each other anymore. From here, she and Auntie Du would go far north to Harbin, where Jiaguo was being sent to make sure Japanese troops and officials surrendered to the Kuomintang and not to the communists. And Wenfu, Danru, and I would go east by train to Nanjing, where we would take a boat to Shanghai. It's true that Hulan and I had many fights, many disagreements those past 8 years, but now we were sad to let each other go. That last night at the hotel, we talked for many hours, until our eyes could not stay open. The next morning, we ate our breakfast slowly, the same kind of simple meal as I have described before. The same rice porridge, the small red beans, and after we ate, we exchanged addresses. I wrote down my father's as well as uncle's on the island. She copied the address in Harbin that Jaguar had written for her. And then we both went to our rooms to search in our trunks so we could give each other a farewell gift. Hulan handed me two good pairs of knitting needles, one for big stitches, one for small. I gave her my best sweater, a blue one with a clever design I had knitted myself, and we both laughed to think we had given each other the same thought. One the tools to knit, the other the result of the same tools. Jaguar gave Wenfu a fountain pen. Wenfu gave him a bottle of American whiskey. And then I saw Auntie Du playing with Danru. She had been like a grandmother to my son. I went back to my trunk, trying to find something special for her as well, and I remembered how much she admired the blue perfume bottle I sometimes let Danru play with. I held that bottle up once more to the light, and then I walked back and gave it to her. Auntie Du protested very loudly, saying, "Why would I want such a thing?" So I pressed it into her hand and she began to cry, telling me how much it embarrassed her to take it. "I have nothing to give you in return," she said. So I told her, "What I give you is nothing also, just a color to look at, so you can remember a foolish woman and her son." Before we left, Hulan and I held hands. I wanted to apologize for all our fights, but I did not know how. So I said, "I think it must have been 100 red beans exactly." And right away, she knew what I was talking about the last argument we had had, just before we left Kunming. Hulan shook her head, crying and laughing at the same time. "No, you were probably right. Only 50, no more." 100, I insisted. 50, maybe even less, she said firmly. And then when she added, "Shyly now, our family was so very poor back then. I had to count that small amount of beans every morning, dividing them between my sister and me, one for her, one for me, one for her, one for me. So you see, I only wish there had been 100. Okay, cool. I'll stop here. Page 408. Alright, thanks for reading with me. I'm getting out. I need to get out of the house and get my day going.